Hey guys, this is our video on Cartesian coordinates using all four quarters. Last week we only talked about the first quadrant, which dealt with only positive numbers. So this week we're going on to the next set of problems, which deal with all four quadrants, which means that we're going to have both positive and negative numbers. So on your first page, it's pretty simple. This is just actually a review of last week. So what it's asking you is, what is the letter coordinating to each of the Cartesian coordinates that it gives here? So let's do the first one together. It's 7, 6. Remember that we always go this way before we go up. So 7, 6 is takes us to 7 on the x plane, and then it goes to 6 on the y-axis, which takes us all the way to here, which is f. So we wouldn't put all those marks on there, but we would put an f right here. Just a spoiler alert, if you do this correctly, you will have a word spelled out. Okay, and then the next one below is plot and label these points on the number plane below. So let's just do a random one. Remember, I always say if you're going to get a teacher to do an example, get them to do a hard one. So this one looks a little harder than the rest, so let's do it. We're going to go this way with our x-axis, so that's 12, and then we're going to go up 7.5, which is right here in between the 7 and the 8. Don't really talk about how to do a 7.5, but our basic common sense says that if we're going to do a 7.5, it's halfway in between the 7 and the 8. We know that this was the letter F, so beside that dot, we're going to put an F. On the next page. All right, so this is just an information page talking to you about what the different quadrants are called, and the fact that includes all integers by introducing negative numbers. So you'll see that here, this is what we were dealing with before in quadrant 1. In quadrant 2 over here, our x-axis goes into the negative numbers. In quadrant 3, which is here, our x-axis and our y-axis are both in negative numbers. And then in quadrant 4, our x-axis is in positive and our y-axis is in negative. Meaning that when you're trying to find a point, it's going to get a little bit more complicated. But we're just applying the exact same rules that we had last week. All right. So here we are actually applying some of it. So it tells you to write down the location of each of these points. So I wrote on your paper here, A, B, C, D. Pretty simple. A is in the first quadrant, so it's just what you did last week. We can see that our x-axis is 5 and our y-axis is 3. Now that was a poor example for me to do because I always say if you're going to get a teacher to do an example, do the harder one. So let's do the hardest one, which is maybe C. So we want to measure our x-axis first. That's -6. And then our y-axis next, which is -4. So the Cartesian coordinate for that is -6, -4. If you go further down on your page, you'll see that the answers are actually right there because this is kind of practice guiding you through it. The next one is the exact same stuff, just giving you more practice. So let's see, what's our hardest one here? Anything that has to do with a 0, I find really stumps us. So let's look at this. G is -7, 0. So we know that we're doing our horizontal first. So we're going all the way to -7. And then when we're gauging how far up we go, we know that we're right at the 0. So -7, 0 lands us right here. That's G. Again, whenever there's a 0, it kind of messes with our brain a little bit because we're not moving in any direction, and it makes us feel that maybe we need to go somewhere in each direction. We don't. The next one is, you know how last week we did kind of a piece of art? This is similar to that, where you are creating a visual. It's not a picture the same as last week, but we're going to do the first line together. So you'll see that it has first line, second line, third line, fourth line. And at 2 different times it tells you to stop and do something. So let's do the first line together. We're going to start with 0 minus 4, which is right here. And we're drawing a line to 2, 2. So you're going to do that with a ruler, so it's going to be a little bit better than what I've done. Then we're going to minus 4, 0, which is right there. And then it tells us to go back to 0, minus 4. So we have this little triangle there. It's not it doesn't look like a complete picture at all, but that's why each of these is in their own little line. So the next one, you're going to start minus 6, 2, draw a line to 9, 7, draw a line from there to 3, minus 11, and so on and so forth. At the end of it, you'll have a piece of art, or at least a design. You'll notice that I put in the email, and I also am going to talk about it here, but I have included an answer key this week. Please don't have this open while you're doing your work, obviously, but it is a really good place to check your answers to make sure that you're on the right track. All right. Next page has some deeper thinking things. So the skate park that Jill is going to is 4 units east and 1 unit north of the post office, located at -1, -2. So here's the post office, and the skate park that Jill is going to is going east. So it's using this map, or this like it's using directions, which are at the top of your page. I haven't put it here on the board, but it is at the top of your page. So we know that we're going 4 units east and 1 unit north. And it takes us to the skate park. So Jill makes a new friend at the skate park, and she gives the following directions to reach her house. I live 4 vertical and 4 horizontal units away from here. Now, the question that it's asking is, first of all, explain why these directions aren't very good directions. And first of all, I'm going to hide that a little bit. So tell me, if you were her friend and you were trying to find her house, would you be able to find her house if she said, I live 4 vertical and 4 horizontal units away from here? We're looking for why would that not work? And then the second question is, what directions should Jill give to make it more accurate? So we know that doesn't work. You're going to tell me why it doesn't work, and then you're going to say what would have been good instructions. All right, next one is fun, but it actually takes a while. I did it yesterday. So it says that Cordy likes to sit on every lily pad. He wants to sit on everyone. There's Cordy right there, and his very first jump is to Y. And so we got to figure out, he takes the same jump every time. And so we want to figure out what's the rule of his jump and where is he going to jump to next. It tells you to list all the coordinates here. So your very first one is Y. I did it yesterday to see if Y was included in it, but it also asks you what is the coordinate for each of the points. So Cordy is right here. He is at -10, +7. So I'm going to have to get my line to -10, 7. And then you need to figure out what's his next jump. So the first thing that you need to look at is each of these points around Cordy. So it's probably going to be something close because he jumped pretty close. Which of them has a similar jump pattern to where he just jumped? Remember that you're not jumping from Cordy this time, you're jumping from the Y. So he's now right here. Where is he going to next? And at the end of it, again, you will have a message. And if you're wanting to know if your message is correct, you can check out that hint to help you through it. All right. So, oh, and then the last page is combining mapping with these Cartesian coordinates. So you have your legend right here, and that tells you what all these things on the map are, and it asks you some questions. So let's do B. Which grid reference is completely filled with dam water? So we know that the dam water looks like this symbol here, and so we're looking in this area. Only one of these squares is completely filled with dam water, and that would be this one right here. So we're going to see that our x-coordinate is D, and our y-coordinate is 9. And so when we're looking for which one is completely filled with dam water, it's D9. And then you'll use the same sort of policy to answer all the rest of them. All right, I hope you guys have fun doing this one. I think Cartesian coordinates are fun, but that's me. So if you struggle at all, give me a shout. Contact me on Teams or by email or by phone, and I'm happy to help you. Thanks.